Welcome to Plasti-Fab's instructional video on installing rigid insulation above a basement floor. In this video, our experts will guide you through the steps we recommend you follow to complete your project successfully. No matter what your level of experience, you can use this video as a guide to getting the best results from your project. When you are finished the steps outlined in this video, you will have an insulated subfloor in place and be ready to install your final floor finishing such as carpeting, tiles, or linoleum. Typically, floors insulated with PlastiSpan insulation will be within 3 degrees Celsius of the room's temperature. There are 4 basic steps to insulating your basement floor with PlastiSpan rigid insulation: covering the existing floor with a moisture barrier, installing the strapping to which the new subfloor sheeting will be attached, installing the PlastiSpan rigid insulation, and attaching the new subfloor sheeting to the strapping. When you purchase the materials for this project, be sure to ask your building supply professional for the recommended subfloor sheeting you will need and the correct way to finish it before installing your choice of flooring material. Different flooring materials, such as carpets or tiles, require different subfloor sheeting and subfloor preparation. You may also consider purchasing strapping that has been treated with a wood preservative. The first installation step is to cover the existing concrete floor with a moisture barrier. Cover the entire floor area with a 6 mil polyethylene moisture barrier to eliminate moisture migration into your living area.
And let's take it there.
There are several methods of laying the strapping and insulation. We recommend you lay a row of strapping, then a row of insulation, then another row of strapping, and so on until the floor is covered. Plan your project to place your insulation and 2x2 strapping on 24-inch centers across the floor in one direction. Begin by attaching 2x2 strapping around the perimeter of the basement floor using self-tapping concrete screws or concrete nails. Now, cut the first row of insulation to a 21 3/4 inch width. This row will be narrower than all the others. The next steps are very important. You must make sure that the strapping in the floor area is placed on 24-inch centers. This will allow secure attachment of the subfloor materials that are purchased in 48 by 96-inch sheets. Check the floor to see if the building area is square. Start your project on the longest straight wall. Then place the first row of strapping against the insulation. After the first row of strapping is in place, you can begin to lay successive rows of insulation and strapping. Cut the remaining rows of PlastiSpan insulation to 22.5-inch widths. You can use these as guides in placing the next rows of strapping. Remember to frequently check that the strapping is always on 24-inch centers. Check these centers by measuring from the inside edge of the previous row to the inside edge of the new row. When all the strapping and insulation is in place, mark the wall where the 2x2 strapping centers intersected to simplify locating the strapping as you fasten down the flooring. Apply adhesive to the strapping. As we mentioned before, be sure to ask your local building supply professional for advice on choosing the subflooring best suited to your application. Most likely, you'll choose a 5/8 of an inch subfloor grade plywood or oriented strand board. In this video, we will use 5/8 of an inch tongue and groove oriented strand board. Then fasten the subfloor directly to the 2x2 inch strapping using either ringed nails or deck screws every 8 inches. An automated nailer, screw gun, or stand-up subfloor screw gun can be used. Many building supply stores rent these and other tools. With an air nailer, use 2-inch ringed subfloor or screw nails. With a screw gun, use 1.5-inch or 1 3/4 inch deck screws.
Pardon me.
Track up my car, you'll be in trouble.
And the line.
Be sure to stagger the joints on the subfloor sheets for extra stability.
All right.
That's it. Your basement floor is now correctly insulated and ready for your final decorating touch. You should notice that the finished floor is now much more comfortable.